Welcome back to another episode of the Get Back Coach, presented by Apollo Media. Let's welcome back reoccurring guest. You may recognize him from his appearances in the crowd during the College World Series. Money Mac from the College Experience is here once again. Mac, how are you? And I have to ask, how was that World Series trip with the West Virginia Mountaineers?
Oh, it was great, Jake and Jay. Appreciate you guys having me on. This means that we're getting closer to college football season, so this excites me. Every time you guys reach out to do a little preseason content, but yeah, I mean, the World Series was a perfect fill-in for the summer. I think. Now that college baseball, I feel like is growing more and more, so bringing that in and kind of shortening up the length between the end of football and then into March Madness, and now we get a little college baseball entertainment. I think it just makes it shortens up the summer in a good way. So Omaha was great. If you have not been, I would put it on your bucket list. I would do anything in your power to get out there. It's not a cheap trip by any means, but if your team can make it, it's well worth it, man. And being a baseball fan, that was surreal. So hopefully we get back and I can do it all over again next year.
Yeah, it's Omaha is definitely a bucket list thing for me. I know we're a football podcast, but it took everything in me when A&M was playing in the championship to not go up there and just splurge on a ticket and sleep in my car. But Omaha is it's kind of a microcosm of what we talk about in college football that makes it so special. Just the traditions, the feel. Obviously, it's a little bit different when you have multiple baseball teams up there, but I love talking about Omaha. So, Jake, sorry to derail us a little bit here with this talk.
No, it's great. Listen, I mean, let's face it. Penn State baseball isn't, it doesn't really move the needle when it comes to College World Series or anything like that. However, because of my background and living in Morgantown for a few years, I feel like I can adopt the West Virginia Mountaineers can adopt me in the fan base. And I was following along. What's the hill called again? Because that looked awesome at West Virginia's home field.
Randy's Ridge.
Ridge.
Yeah. So there's the scene of him right when he got, or not right when he got the job, but in 2012 where they started building that stadium, and he was looking over, and it's like, hey, we should build the stadium here. And then you have the whole thing was just awesome, where you have the before, after, and just seeing the coming together of what it's been in the works for now, 14, 15 years of what this program has become. So yeah, it's fun, man. I mean, we brought the college football to bring this back to college football. We brought a college football tailgate environment. And I think that's why the fan base, our rowdy fan base, as everybody knows, we like to party. We've never lost one of them. I think that's why everybody even bought in more, and just hosting it and getting the recognition, whether it was country roads or just the scenery of it, I think it was second to none for the brand.
I had major FOMO watching it, and I'm just like, man, if I was still living there, I'd be lining up on the hill. But beautiful stadium, like West Virginia fans, they've never lost the tailgate. Never lost the tailgate. But let's get into some football action here. We're going to start off with some national title contenders. I know the Big 12 for the last couple of years, you had playoff teams, not a whole lot of teams kind of competing for that national title. Is Texas Tech the premier team in the Big 12? And is there anyone else that you think can make a run at a national title this year?
Yeah. So to start with Texas Tech, they definitely are the best team on paper. They ran through this league last year. The Moneyball team, as I like to call it, came to fruition. It felt like they hit on every single portal guy. So now they're going to try and replicate the same formula. Some say they're deeper than they were last year. I think that's to be determined. And I don't know if they have the star power. I mean, you're replacing the second pick of the draft and a couple other pros on the defensive side. The knock on them last year was the quarterback position. So they went out and got Sorsby. And then, of course, everybody knows how that thing ended up shaking out. So you're waiting on Hammond to come back, coming off the ACL injury. I think Tech is the best team on paper, but I've seen, Jay, you can attest to this too. How many times in the Big 12 has the team that is supposed to win the league, cough, cough, the Texas Longhorns for all those years, not won this league, despite being by far the best team on paper? So I think Texas Tech is the team to beat. On paper, do have a national championship roster. I mean, they're paying for that, obviously, with Cody Campbell and company. But this league seems to always have a little bit of chaos, and what is supposed to happen doesn't usually happen in this league. If you're looking for a dark horse, maybe to get to an Natty or make a run at it and get in the playoff, I think people are sleeping on BYU. I think Bachmeier, a full off season. He got there late last year. I think they're really good in the trenches. Sataki, they quietly won back-to-back double-digit win seasons now. LJ Martin's back as well. I think BYU's not getting enough love, and I think that gap is smaller than people are making it out to be.
Yeah, it makes a ton of sense, and you look at I think of the Big 12, the modern Big 12, as the conference of parity, right? Like it feels like week in, week out, it's probably the most competitive league in the NCAA. And I like it's must watch football for me just because like I love competitive games. I don't really care who's playing in it. And it feels like that is just a constant piece of the Big 12 puzzle. So I know you brought up BYU as a potential dark horse. Is there any other teams that you think could surprise people in a good way relative to their expectations?
Are we talking national title contender or just a team that maybe they're not getting enough love just from the national media altogether?
Let's say from the Big 12 perspective,
Yeah.
like other teams that you think could really make a run at that title.
Well, I'll be biased right off the bat. Rich Rod in year number 2. I think you're bringing over Michael Hawkins over from Oklahoma. You're bringing over Cam Cook as well, the leading rusher in the country last year. I think Hawkins is a perfect fit in that system. At Oklahoma, I mean, they threw him into an impossible situation. Down multiple offensive linemen, down your top 4 receivers, and you're throwing him against Texas with all those pros on the front. So that was him as a freshman. He's a couple years older, and I think he's more in the perfect system with Rich Rod. Rich Rod brings over Trickett from Jacksonville State, his old offensive coordinator, who also was with Jimbo, Nick Saban, and guys, and one of the more respected offensive line coaches of the past 30, 40, 50 years in this business. So he's got his guys back. The offensive line is going to be much improved. The defense, I think, is also going to be way better with Zach Alley in year number 2. I just think you look at Rich Rod's teams over the years. Year 1's more of a culture, lay your foundation down. Now I think he has his guys. I think they've invested also more in the NIL. I think they held back some resources in year 1 because he got the job late. And I think that they've invested more, or I know they've invested more this year into that roster. And I think the players that they brought in are way more talented in the Big 12 because this was also Rich Rod's first year coaching in the Big 12. His first tenure was in the Big East, won 4 games in his first year that year. Then year 2, they made the jump up to 9 wins. He did similar stuff at Arizona in the Pac-12. And then, of course, what he did with Jack State, transitioning from FCS to FBS and winning that conference in just year number 2. I'm hoping for a similar magic here. Year number 2, Rich Rod, I think is going to be a heck of a year here in Morgantown.
Man, I hopefully hope so. Man, for me, it's always better when the Mountaineers are better. Get to watch them and Penn State in the same day. It's kind of cool to have. Penn State's my one true love. However, it's nice having the Mountaineers like a cousin, that you root for. My cousin's down in West Virginia. How about Houston? You were the first. I mean, you had a big swing last year and called that Houston was going to have a surprise year, which they did. Could Willie Fritz do it again and make a run at the Big 12 this year as well?
So yeah, back to the Rich Rod thing. And the jump I was talking about, that was Houston last year because Fritz, year number 1, they won 4 games. they were chippy in November, just like West Virginia was in year one. And then they jumped up, which is what I'm anticipating with the Mountaineers. So now Houston kind of shifts into a little bit of a more you're not syncing up on anybody anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So the only thing I don't like about Houston is their schedule. They got brutal road spots. I mean, at Texas Tech, we just talked about it, they're the favorite. At Kansas State, historically really good in the Little Apple. At Utah, which is always a tough place to play, and then at West Virginia and Morgantown in the month of or late November, where it's going to be freezing and always a tough out. And they got to go to Colorado. So 5 hard road games, but Wegman's back. The other knock on Houston, I guess, would be that they were 6-0 or 6-1 in one score games. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe a little bit of regression there, but I like the roster. I think Fritz is a heck of a veteran coach. And that was the main reason why I was high on that team in year 1 to year 2 jump. I think Houston is more in that 4, 5, 6 range this year. They may be better than they were last year, but last year I thought their schedule was beautiful. This year I think it's a little more difficult. I got them around 8-4. I think they'll just be solid this year.
Okay. Listen, that's still a huge for Houston football, though, for where it was. And it sounds like Willie Fritz is bringing like a lot of really nice stability there.
Yeah, he's wherever he's been, he's won. Whether it was at Tulane, Georgia Southern, you go down the list with all his other stops. So he's just a veteran coach, runs a great program, and Houston hit the jackpot. I think they're recruiting really highly. They signed a 5-star quarterback already, so Houston's getting a different level of athlete, and I think Fritz is the perfect guy to get this program to the next level.
Yeah. Now we talked about the good. How about a team that's going to be disappointing? A team that maybe was successful the last few years, but going into this year, they're really going to take a dip. Is there a team in the Big 12 you think that fits that mold? Like a team that is probably going to be disappointing to most people?
So I think Iowa State's the easy one just because
Mhm.
Campbell leave and Rodgers comes over. But, I mean, they got that pretty much priced in. I think it's pretty known that this will be a transition year, even though I think Rodgers is a heck of a ball coach. And defensively, they're going to be tough. I actually think they're going to be tougher than people are giving them credit for. I think they're just look at some of the names that they brought in and maybe don't think the talent's there. But you look at what he did at Wazoo last year. He took over a whole new roster from South Dakota State and still got that team to a bowl game despite playing a ridiculous schedule, having to play at Ole Miss, at Virginia, at JMU, which because of the Pac-2 only having 2 teams. So back to your question, I'm going to go Oklahoma State. And I know they only won 1 game last year, but they've kind of turned into the preseason cute team that everybody's kind of wanting to hop on here with Eric Morris coming over from North Texas, bringing over his offense. I just have my questions if that'll translate in the Big 12. Musonmaker at the quarterback position. I like him. Obviously, he lit it up in the box score. But North Texas, I thought, got a great schedule last year, and they avoided a lot of the big boys before ultimately losing in the championship game. I'm a little weary on Oklahoma State because Morris was on the hot seat going into last year down there in Denton. So now you fast forward a year, he went from the hot seat at North Texas to now they're going to be the sleeper team in the Big 12 at Oklahoma State. So I think it's a little bit of an overreaction. I know they only won 1 game, so they'll be better than that, Oklahoma State fans. I'm not saying you're going 1-11, but this jump that a lot of people have, 7-5 or 8-4, I think they're more of a 4 or 5 win team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I have a take. I think Arizona State is a very intriguing team. Like I really like Kenny Dillingham. And they went 8-5 last year. They had some injuries, but like I was looking at returning production and they don't have like a ton coming back. Like they're very much middle of the road. And I'm thinking if they lose a couple games that this is a team like 2 years ago who was kind of like the belle of the ball, wedding crasher, prom crasher. And now they've kind of sunk back into Arizona State and where they were in like as an 8-win team. So I'm kind of curious to hear like your thoughts on them.
I'm with you on. I just think that Dillingham's a really good really good coach. I
Yeah.
think he's a heck of a ball coach. So you lose Levitt now. That's going to be TBD, I think, because Levitt was so up and down health wise. I'm interested to see how now they transition with a new quarterback. They got Boley coming over from Kentucky, so I think. I mean, Levitt missed a bunch of the year last year, and then Sims as well came in, and I actually thought played the best ball of his career. So I think it's TBD. I think Arizona State could be actually the better of the Arizonas this year. I guess that's a little bit of a hot take because the Wildcats were the ones that had the really good year.
Yeah, I agree with you a lot on Kenny Dillingham in particular, just being a good ball coach. And the other thing is, I just think this is a transitional period for a lot of the Big 12, right? You look at UCF still kind of rebuilding under Scott Frost. So we don't know how that's going to go. Kansas State, Colin Klein's coming in. Utah, right? Whittingham has moved on. So I just think there's kind of room for Arizona State to have a good year. And I feel like Dillingham is the most trusted commodity among some of the programs going through transitional years. And while Arizona State may not be at that Big 12 title level, I think they're still going to have a good season. I mean, you mentioned Arizona, right? And with Fafita gone, I think this is going to be tough for that Wildcat program as well. Definitely interested to see how this all shakes out.
Yeah, no, Arizona's been kind of a zigzag team the last couple of years. I mean, Fafita's first year, they win 10 games and they bounce back, miss a bowl. Then last year, everybody's out on them again. They win 9 games. So now I think they have expectations again for Fafita's final year. So I think Arizona's somewhere in the middle of the pack. They got a tough schedule as well. But you can't play the schedule too much in the Big 12 just because the parity is crazy, I guess, outside of Texas Tech from a point spread perspective.
Yeah, and then, by the way, that's on me. I thought Fafita was gone.
No,
I didn't realize she had one more year.
Like he's been there. He's been there forever.
Yeah.
Two different coaches now.
Yeah, it feels like he's been there a long time, and I don't think he's even one of those COVID kids. It's just been hanging on. Yeah. But no, I mean, he's a fun player to watch. So that's on me. That's the magic of showbiz and the portal and everything. Folks, try to keep up with these rosters better.
You know what?
Do.
Like, isn't that kind of cool though? Because for how many years were guys only on rosters for 3 years, or where like you only got to see them really sprout 1 year and then they go to the pros? And now we're seeing guys, besides for a couple that maybe overstay their welcome, the 6th and 7th year guys, but it's nice to have a guy like Fafita who's been there, all 4 years and has been a program guy. And I don't know, I think those are like the good stories in college football right now.
Yeah, they're rare. I mean, I think they happen more in the Big 12 because I think the Big 12, you could argue, has the best returning quarterbacks. Maybe not the best. Like I saw a Big 10 list today, SEC list, but heck, 75% of those guys are transfers from other leagues. So it's not like they're homegrown in the SEC and Big 10, even though they'll put them on their stats for the NFL draft, those two leagues.
Yeah.
I had to get my SEC and Big 10 jabs in.
Hey, listen, we support it. Let's get into some of the over-unders for win totals on the year. What team do you feel could shatter their over-under? Either way, could go over, could go under.
Over, yeah. I'll this will be the theme of the show. My Mountaineers. I think my Mountaineers are going to start 7-0. I think the schedule breaks beautifully for them. You look at it. You draw Virginia coming off a magical year. I think they're talking about who were we just talking about had all those? Houston had all those one-score wins. Virginia was the king of the one-score wins last year.
Yeah,
I think they had 8 of them. So regression year for them, in my opinion, under Tony Elliott. You got them week 3. Then week 4, you got Oklahoma State, and week 5, you got Iowa State. So you get 2 first-year head coaches in Big 12 play to kick off Big 12 play. Then at home in Morgantown, you get Arizona and Cincinnati. So in my mind, over 5.5 wins, I think they hit that by game 6. So I think we'll have cashed that over 5.5 wins easily by Halloween.
I mean, I'm looking at it right now. Coastal win, UT Martin win. Virginia will be tricky. But still, Oklahoma State, I think they're better than. I know they're better than Iowa State. I think they're better than Cincinnati, and then Kansas, Mountaineers bowling.
Yeah,
I think Mountaineers could definitely be good. And it's at 5.5, right?
It's at 5.5. Yeah, it's
at 5.5.
starting to get a little juicy, but it's been staying at 5.5. I wouldn't be surprised if it went to 6.5 here in the next couple weeks.
Yeah, and that's not even me counting Virginia
and Arizona.
So yeah. I think they can definitely. Yeah, and Arizona. Yeah, right. So for me, I think BYU over 8.5 is a good play. I know 9 wins is a lot, but looking at BYU's schedule, I think, again, they're going to be the second best team in the conference. They do have to play Notre Dame, but I think they can very easily go 10-2. They have a good chunk of their defense coming back, and they're returning. So I like BYU over 8.5 in there.
I guess I'm going to take an under here. I'm going to go with Cincinnati. At 5.5. I think they're going to have a tough year. I think it's going to be really challenging. Now, you get Texas Tech and Utah at home, but those are back-to-back games after you go to Arizona and West Virginia. You close out the season at BYU. Boston College, I think, is a toss-up because, Jake, we had the ACC preview. Neither one of us
Boston College is also – Boston College is also bad.
But I think that Miami game is going to be challenging. Miami of Ohio. I think that is one of those teams that's always solid in the MAC. And, it is a rivalry game for those two programs with the victory bell there. But I think.
Oh, that's right. I forgot all about that.
Yeah, they got him 2 years ago.
Yeah. So I look at this and I think I'm going to take the under at 5.5 for Cincinnati on the win total.
Yeah. Which kind of leads me to my next thing. Great transition here from Jay. If you had to put money on who's the worst team in the conference going to be, who do you think it's going to be? Because I also have some thoughts as well, but I'm curious to hear what you have to say, Matt.
So I think everybody will say Iowa State, and then I think they would say Colorado.
Yep.
I think it's Cincinnati. We did Cincinnati. It wouldn't shock me if Cincinnati went 0-9 in Big 12 play, or 1-8. They're not going to be favored in any of these games, and it wouldn't shock me if BC picked them off in week number 1, like you got to your guys' point, or Miami of Ohio. I think they're going to be. I mean, that BC line's already out. It's 7.5, so it's not like that's a gimme at all. And I mean, you just look at their conference start. Kansas State, at Arizona, at West Virginia, at Texas Tech, Utah, at Houston. They're not going to be favored in any of those games. And then who knows where the locker room's at by that point. Oh, and they end at BYU. So they draw every single contender to piggyback right off Jay's underplay.
Yeah, and they lose a lot of production, obviously. Cyrus Allen, one of their top receivers, is gone. It is going to be a tough year for Cincinnati. I think some of the fan base is already a little restless with Scott Satterfield there. I don't love it. To your point earlier that you made about Iowa State, Jimmy Rogers, to me, heck of a ball coach. I think he's going to perform well given the circumstances. Colorado, I don't think that's going to be a good team, but I think they'll have enough, and I think they'll get some wins at home. I mean, again, I'm a nut job when it comes to elevation and how that impacts games played, but I think there is something to it. I don't have any faith in Cincinnati this year. All new coordinators across the board as well. It is anytime you have a whole bunch of new coordinators coming in, I always feel like that's a red flag that a coach is trying to hold on. And I don't love the lack of returning production. And I mean, I don't want to bash on Cincinnati too much, right? I feel like I've been kind of giving them the business for the past 10 minutes, but I just feel like they're probably going to be the worst team in the conference this year.
Yeah, I mean, I had 4 teams. Granted, I did not look at schedules. I just looked based off of returning production. Colorado, Cincinnati, Iowa State. Mac, I'm sorry, I did throw West Virginia in there just because of last year, and I don't see them having, returning guys. However, they have bodies. And I think West Virginia and Iowa State, they did do a lot and looks like they did a lot in the transfer portal. They have bodies there. Where Colorado, they have an okay transfer class. Cincinnati doesn't really have one. So I think Cincinnati, we're sorry, Cincinnati people, which, by the way, are someone in the chat, artistically incredible, who wants to bet Cincinnati makes a bowl game.
We don't.
So they're saying they're making it. But yeah, I was kind of leaning Cincinnati, Iowa State, Colorado for those. And the thing is, like, Jay, I don't know what your thoughts were. I wasn't crazy about the Satterfield hire when he was chosen.
It felt really weird.
It did. It felt really, really
Tailed
weird.
upward. He didn't even see Louisville, and then they paid Louisville, and Louisville got Braum.
Jeff Braum.
Traded.
Yeah, like I don't know. I don't get it. But no, I do think those are the ones that it's that we could probably bank on being the worst, unless there's unless someone really tanks it that we're not talking about.
Crazy things can happen in this conference.
Yeah. Hey,
we talked a little bit about the transitional new coaches coming in. Mac, who is your pick for the best new coaching hire in the Big 12?
So we got Kansas State, we got Oklahoma State, we got Utah promoting within. Am I missing anybody? I don't think so. I think it's the three, and then you got a couple in their second year with Rich Rod, Scott Frost. Just scrolling through.
Jimmy Rogers.
Oh yeah, Jimmy Rogers. Yes. Yeah. I talked up Jimmy Rogers. And I forgot he's in his first year.
Yeah.
So you have the 4 first-year head coach, and then you got a couple in their second year. I mean, I'm a big Rogers guy. I already talked him up. I thought he did a great job at Wazoo getting them into a bowl game with that impossible Pac-2 schedule. But I do like Colin Klein, man. I mean, I liked Colin Klein as a player. First off, I mean, it's you start feeling old. I'm sure you guys will agree when you start seeing the guys that we kind of, whether we're in high school or college, now they're getting head coaching gigs at their alma mater. And I am a fan of when a guy gets a crack at his alma mater. I think it means a little bit more. They wore the uniform. It's one of the big reasons why I'm so passionate or so outspoken and passionate about bringing Rich Rod back is when your reputation's on the line, I think it is a little bit more. And I think you're getting that with Colin Klein coming back to Kansas State. He was the offensive coordinator when they won the Big 12 as well back in 2021. Now he goes to A&M. He works for Elko for a couple years, did a great job. And now he's going to get to coach Avery Johnson, who I'm not saying is Colin Klein, but there's some similar characteristics. So I think Klein's perfect for K-State.
Yeah. Jay, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I can go on this. I mean, I agree with everything you've said about Colin Klein. I think he needed to get out of Kansas State briefly just to kind of experience somewhere else. I think, I'm obviously biased, but I'm big on Elko. I think Mike Elko is a fantastic football coach, and I think he's a guy that it's great for Colin Klein to learn from. But at the same time, I also think Colin Klein lives and breathes Kansas State football, and the identity of that program, knows it in and out. Hasn't been too far removed. I mean, it's only been 13 years, right, since he was there in the Little Apple in Heisman talks in 2012. But I mean, listen, Colin Klein is a guy that is going to get the most out of this program, I think. With that being said, I'm going Jimmy Rogers. I just think Jimmy Rogers is an incredible ball coach. I'm really excited to see what he does. I don't want to sleep on Morgan Scalley there at Utah too. He's a guy that has been in Utah his entire football career, going back to Pee Wee in high school, right? Has always been in the state of Utah, knows that program inside and out, has coached there for forever, it seems like, on the defensive side of the ball. But Jimmy Rogers is a guy that I am just super hyped up about. I think what he did at South Dakota State was impressive. I think people look at Washington State going 6-6 and they think, oh, why did he get a new job after 6-6? I don't think they realize and how bad of a way that Washington State program was.
Yeah.
So that job was one of the more impressive ones of 2025 to me. And I think he can do something similar at Iowa State, maybe not quite to bowl eligibility, but he gets a couple years there and aims to build. And I think he can get something special going.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I'm going with Matt. I'm going with Colin Klein. I'm very excited to see Colin Klein back with K-State. And Matt, to your point again, it means more when you have a guy as your head coach who has lived and breathed that university. I mean, think about it. If you want to talk about like the 2000s players from Kansas State, like Colin Klein's up there for most memorable dudes. Like, so I'm very excited for him. And I feel like it is a perfect transition for Kansas State to go to one of their own. Because listen, that is a fan base and that is a program that is very kind of like family oriented. Yeah. So to speak, like whether it be the Snyders and for it to go to Klein, I feel like that is a very nice passing of the torch type of moment.
Nobody in on Eric Morris.
Like the Eric Morris thing, I just wanted to see it one more year at Oklahoma State, North Texas. Did they just catch lightning in a bottle with the really good group? Now that, he did bring that group to Stillwater, but you look at what they did last year. They got drilled by South Florida in that Friday night game. They lost by like 30. Kind of got drilled by Tulane. They didn't really beat another contender outside of Navy and Army. So when Army and Navy are your two best wins, I'm a little hesitant just to blindly jump in on this Oklahoma State hype train.
Yeah. I guess we did get the head-to-head matchup between Jimmy Rogers and Eric Morris with North Texas beating Washington State 59-10.
Oh, yeah, that was a bloodbath.
That was bad. So, Mac, how about biggest hot seat? I do think there are a few coaches on the hot seat in the Big 12. Who do you think is the hottest?
I think all three of us already fired Satterfield on this episode. I said they could go 0-9. Jay said it was his favorite was the under. Jake, you were just trashing the higher. I don't think any of us are wrong. So there's another hot seat. I have the win totals. There are a ton of 5.5 and 6.5s out there in this league.
So I have one. How about Dave Aranda?
Well, yeah.
Isn't that kind of a fall? That's kind of a fall from grace from winning the Big 12, and now they just seem to be kind of disappointing every year. I believe they had 8 wins last year.
No, they had 5. They missed the bowl last year.
Oh, they had 5.
They
missed the bowl.
The year before, everybody fired him, and then he won 8.
Yeah.
Whenever everybody fires him in the middle of the year or beginning of the year, he pops up and wins 8. Right. And then they're like, all right, he's safe. Yeah. And then he goes and wins 4 or 5, and he's back on the hot seat. So
that was two years ago.
They were 2-4, and everybody was ready to fire him, and they won 6 in a row to end the season. Baylor's a weird program. They're so up and down. Yeah. And now they get Lagway on a bounce back. So Baylor should be locked to go over if he's on the hot seat, right?
Yeah. And I do think that Lagway under Jake Spavital could be really fun to watch, depending on how that offense goes. I do agree, though, that coming into the season, I think you have to assume Dave Aranda is on the hot seat. Could Kansas move on from Lance Leipold?
It is. So. I feel like it's unfair to talk about this just because that program was so damn bad when he got there. They were terrible, but they are off back-to-back losing seasons now. He gets Koltenicky back though from the little short stint in Happy Valley. So now he comes back to Kansas. Pairs up with Leipold. I gotta think Kansas will bounce back. I think Leipold's a heck of a ball coach too. I've always said that, in my opinion, the Big 12 has the best college football coaches. Now, I was saying that the last couple of years, and you look at it during that stint, I was including Kleiman, who had multiple national championships at North Dakota State. I had Mike Gundy, who had all those bowl seasons, and then he kind of just went out his way at the end by just not recruiting the portal at all. And then Whittingham jumps over to Michigan. So you've lost two legends and then also just a really good coaching climate as well. So maybe they've lost a little bit, but I still think the coaches in this league are really good and really underrated.
Yeah. No,
and Matt Campbell. We lost Matt Campbell too, which is a huge loss.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think underrated, I think is a good term for those Big 12 coaches. Because like after talking about them, like, I mean, there's a lot of good coaches there. However, I think I still don't know if Dave Aranda is or not. I think Lance Leipold is a good coach though. I don't think the problems at Kansas have to do with him. It's just, I think he has to recruit guys in his system. And I don't think that's an indictment on him. I think that's an indictment on Kansas.
It's an interesting mix now with the new look Big 12 coaches. Cause like you got the old veteran coaches in Rich Rod, Willie Fritz, and Lance Leipold that have won a bunch of games. I mean, Lance Leipold won all those natties at the Division II and Division III level. Then I think you kind of got the young up and coming coaches that are kind of in their prime. Sataki at BYU, I think, is an underrated coach.
Yeah.
We talked about Dillingham. We think he's a star. Sonny Dykes kind of always just gets forgotten. He got TCU to the national championship.
Oh, wow, yeah.
McGuire at Texas Tech, I think, is just a solid coach. I know he's got the best roster, which helps. But I think he's also just a really good coach. And then Scott Frost, I mean, he led UCF to 13-0 once upon a time. So, and then Brendan at Arizona, who did a great job at San Jose, now at Arizona, 9 wins. So it's an interesting mix. And then you got guys like Arana and Satterfield, and then wherever you want to put Coach Prime as well.
So that was the last guy I wanted to talk about here.
It's actually.
No, we haven't talked about him at all. And so here's the deal with Prime. And I think this is fair. Deion is going to leave Colorado in a better place than when he got it, strictly because he got eyes on the program. He tried to get, he got him on national television. He sold them, hey, Colorado can be cool. Colorado can give you this, can give you media attention, can get you on TV. So I think he's going to leave it better than when he got it. However, I think Colorado is going to be bad this year, and I would not surprise me by halfway through the year, Deion goes, hey, because again, Deion also has to worry about his health. Yeah. He's dealing with all of his medical issues. I would have surprised me if halfway through the year he says, hey, I'm going to retire at the end of the year. I'm going to keep this program together, and it's going to give Colorado time to find the guy to come in after me. So the thing is, the Deion, the Coach Prime experiment, it's like, were they good once, but also, is it better than when he got there? You got to argue it is, right?
Well, it helped that his son is an NFL quarterback, whether you agree with some of the other stuff that he says or does. I mean, that's another thing. But talent-wise, he's an NFL quarterback. And then having the two-way Heisman Trophy winner and Travis Hunter really helped as well. So, yeah, they had the magical year, first year in the Big 12. And then they've kind of came back and regressed to the pack here a little bit. So I'm with you. I everybody's out on them. So I kind of want to think that they fight a little bit, because when Deion's been pretty good as an underdog so far at Colorado. It was last year where the expectations were high, even coming into the year, where they didn't have the horses to meet that challenge. But their schedule's ridiculous. They have road games in the non-con at Georgia Tech and at Northwestern. I don't know anybody else that has 2 Power 4 road games to start the season before going through the Big 12, which every game is a toss-up. So I don't know if they get to a bowl, but I don't think they're going to be like 2-10 bad. I think the quarterback takes a jump. Julian Lewis. I thought he showed flashes and later in the year. They get Brendan Marion coming over with that go-go offense. Interested to see how that fits, but I can see them going 5-7 or 6-6, somewhere in the middle.
They're one of 4 teams that play 11 Power 5 games this year, or 11 Power 4 games this year.
Yeah, no, and that's why it's hard with the college football playoff selection process when you got teams playing 9 versus other teams that are only playing 11. You got some teams that are playing 3 or 4 road games before Halloween. You got other teams that aren't hitting the road until Halloween weekend. So scheduling is so funky in college football.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I do want to address this question that's in the chat right here. 5 years, is Colorado better or worse than they are right now? If you have the crystal ball, I have no clue. It can tank it, or someone comes in and says and kind of builds off of something.
Off of where they are currently or where they were when Dion first got there?
Where they are currently.
I'll say the same.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is a program. This is a proud program. I mean, they have a national championship, and
that is true.
I think what Dion has brought out is there is a passionate fan base there, and a community that if you put a good product out there, they will show up. So I think that's one of the main takeaways from the Dion era.
There's a scenario where Colorado offensively performs well this year, and Brendan Marion steps in as interim, right? He's been a head coach at Sacramento State. Like I would not be surprised if Brendan Marion is a guy that they're looking at to kind of be next in line, knowing what we know. Just going to be interesting to monitor that program moving forward.
Jay, that is an excellent point that I wasn't even thinking about. That would be.
I'm not saying it will happen, but I'm just like,
right. Wouldn't that be smart on their part, though?
If they think he's the right guy, yeah, because he's young. He worked with Sark, so he's highly respected in the industry, and he was with Odom at UNLV as well. So I mean, he's been a part of winning for a couple years now.
Yeah, and who knows, in that interview process, what if they're like, hey, listen, Dion probably isn't going to be around for a little bit longer. Dion probably himself would say, hey, my years are numbered. If you come in here and you like it, when he leaves, it's going to be, it can be yours.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Yeah. So Mac, before we start talking about some fun stuff, well, this is still a fun topic. Because Jay, we have to talk about this. Last week, and Mac, this was not on your note sheet, by the way. So we're blindsiding you here. Akron is raffling off a chance to be offensive coordinator for their first home game against Robert Morris. What are our thoughts here? Mac, I want Mac to go first. Mac, what are your thoughts?
What if they script up a touchdown drive?
Is that bad? Is that actually bad?
Do they keep him in there? I just think you're Akron. Your margin of error isn't that huge. This isn't like Ohio State versus Robert Morris. This is Akron. Yeah. Like, would it shock you if you look across the ticker on opening day and you see Akron's in a one-score game in the fourth quarter against Robert Morris? It wouldn't shock me at all. This program just went like 0-12 like 3 years ago. So I tip my cap on creativity to try and generate some buzz and excitement with the program that hasn't gotten much. I mean, hell, they were ineligible to go to the bowl game because of academics last year. I didn't even know we did academics anymore.
Which is even crazier. Yeah. Like it's not just that they're bad, but they're not even going to class. They don't even have an excuse to be bad.
Why would you self-report yourself? Why wouldn't just argue? Just go to court. You'll win. Just the NCAA ain't winning anything.
Yeah. Do you see how bad this team is? Like, come on. Jay.
I was just gonna say I'm running AGAT power 3 times in a row.
Yeah. Pull back time, baby.
Yeah. So obviously the fine print, it does say with supervision of the head coach. It even says we're not crazy. The thing is, so the head coach is Joe Moorhead, and I do feel bad for Joe Moorhead because he was a hot offensive coordinator, was at Penn State, took the job at Mississippi State, and was very lukewarm, and now he's at Akron, which seems to be in, I don't know, the 9th realm of hell of trying to get out. So he's kind of stuck there. But good news is, I don't know if you guys saw this, they sold out their suites for the first time. and their ticket sales are through the roof. Like, people are going to probably tune into this game for this. So it
That's
worked,
what I mean. Like,
right?
that's where you kind of tip your cap because I mean, I saw him on McAfee
Yeah,
earlier in the week or last week. So it's like
right. It worked.
When's the last time we talked about Akron? Right.
I
What's
know,
madness every
right?
year as a sleeper 12 seed to knock off a 5 seed. But
Yeah,
Akron,
yeah.
now I do remember Akron football last year in Wyoming against the opener on a Friday night. They were shut out. So like they can't be any worse than they were last year in their home opener.
Yeah, they're pretty bad. But no, that this will be fun at least. And listen, if you're an Akron fan out there who has season tickets, like has legitimately season tickets for years, you don't have really anything to cheer for. Good for them for at least giving them a cool experience for a week to like see the behind the scenes.
Listen, Akron at 5-7, that actually surprises me, considering where they were, I think, a few years ago.
No, he
They were
did
5-7
well.
in 2025.
Yeah, I actually thought he did a pretty good coaching job. Him and the guy at Kent State, the rivals, like 5-7 at those schools is equivalent to like 8-4 at the Power Four because the MAC they got to play those 3 bye games to start the year, so you're already 0-3 to start, and it's a
Yeah.
uphill battle just to get to a bowl game.
All right, is it the
I think it's time. Let's get in since it's
for the fun
yeah,
questions?
I mean, so we've been asking this question to other people because it's your conference that's responsible for the question. We've been asking what their conference sponsor should be as it relates to the Big 12 sponsorship of Monster Energy. Mac, if you could pick a different sponsor for the Big 12, maybe one that aligns more with it.
Yeah.
Or do you think Monster's the deal?
No. Yeah. I'm not the biggest Yormark guy. I think he's too New York City and he's too gimmicky. I mean, I know this is a football episode, but that court last year in the Big 12 tournament was a joke. You have the best team. You have Houston, Arizona versus who are they playing? Iowa State. Those are 2 top 10 teams. Then you have Kansas versus Houston, 2 other top 10. So you have 4 out of the top 10 teams playing in a doubleheader Friday night, and you're going to get the most eyeballs on ESPN. And then you come out and you look like you're playing on, I don't even know what to describe that black and white checkered court was. And
bedazzled
rubber court. Like it would light up. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? You have the best product. You don't have to be gimmicky. It's like in college football when you have the best players, but you just want to, instead of just running the ball down the other team's throat, you run all these trick plays and cha-cha-cha stuff. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I that's my big thing with Yormark, like trying to play games overseas, like Farmageddon. I get that you're trying to expand it internationally. Take a Kansas State versus who do they got on the non-con this year? I'll pick the game.
Yeah, but why Farmageddon? Like keep that at home.
That's what, put Kansas State versus Tulane out there, or Kansas State versus Wazoo. Don't take away Farmageddon, where these 2 fan bases hate each other, and I think and hopefully we're getting ready to get rid of this, whether we expand the college football playoff or we remember why people love college football and college basketball. The home environments, home campuses, it still is college sports. Please, less of the neutral site games, especially in domes. I don't know why. I know it creates more money and more people in the seats, but it's a worse product. Everybody wants to see how much Kansas State hates Iowa State or Iowa State hates Kansas State. For example, the backyard brawl. I think people forgot how great that rivalry was until you see it on TV and you see 60,000 crazy West Virginians yelling at the top of their lungs at eat shit pit and many other great things for 3 hours in the stadium. And then obviously much more pregame and after game. But I mean, Jay, Texas A&M, you grew up in that rivalry. You played that rivalry. Like the fact that we didn't have that for a decade's a joke.
Yeah. Well, I actually missed it, and I was pissed off about it. I didn't get to play in
Yes.
that game. But grew up at like every Thanksgiving, you're going to watch that game. It was you had the Cowboys game on in the day, and then you had the A&M Texas game on at night, and that was every household in the state of Texas.
Yeah, and then the Egg Bowl as well has been another tradition. That now we get Rutgers versus Washington. I mean, who wants to watch that? I just say for whatever reason we fell in love with these neutral site games, and we just tried to.
That's money.
It's all money, but I just feel like in the end, it's gonna. If you highlighted the rivalries, I think that would create more money, but you have to market it the right way. But what was the original question? Which of the I went on my rant about how much I hate.
Who would you replace Monster Energy with for the Big 12?
Something truck stop related, because it's a truck stop league.
Yeah. The Flying J Big 12.
Yeah, why not? I mean, I liked Phillips. I thought Phillips was funny for all those years.
There we go.
Phillips 66. Maybe that's just the retro old school coming out of me.
No, I love it. I love it. I just worry about oil and gas with Texas Tech in the conference, you know.
You know they're going to try it. They'll try, but they want to rename it to the Texas Tech League if you ask their fan base or Cody Campbell.
Oh man.
All right, so this is the real questions here, Mac. This is the real questions here. Now listen, West Virginia Mountaineers, I should say. You guys are some of the best tailgaters in the country. The Blue Lot is probably pound for pound the best specific lot in the country.
And we can both attest to that, Jake.
Yes, and we can both attest for it. Okay, listen, Penn State might have big, huge area, but there is nothing like the Blue Lot. In that area is just 100% blue and gold debauchery. That is some of the most fun tailgating you can ever have. So we have some tailgate questions for you.
Let's do it,
Mac. So I need a lunch meal and a lunch side. So think about it. 3:30 game. You need to eat around 12 o'clock, 1. I need a meal and a side.
I think you got to go brisket, man. I think there's something about that.
No, you have to execute.
Yeah, it ain't gonna be me cooking it because I'll jack it up for everybody. So I think if you get the right, and there's plenty of guys that can put on a mean brisket here in Morgantown.
Not Lincoln Riley.
No, not Lincoln. not Lincoln Riley. I think you can't go wrong with the brisket in college. There's something about brisket in college football. So yeah, a lot of brisket here in the Blue Lot.
Yeah. What's your side gonna be?
Side with the brisket. You can't go wrong with some mac and cheese, man.
Yeah,
like brisket and mac and cheese I think are a perfect combo. I mean, mashed potatoes are always good too, but that's more Thanksgiving. I think
stay away from Arkansas.
Yeah, I think
that there are people who aren't going to understand that. That is a crazy pull, Jay.
That is a good one. That is a good one. But I mean, in Morgantown, you got to have the pepperoni roll somewhere in the rotation.
Yes.
So I mean, that's not everywhere. I'm just speaking generically here. College football tailgate. I would probably go my go-to on a Saturday 3:30 game, a nice brisket and some mac and cheese.
All right, and I love that combo. What's going to be the beverage of choice at this tailgate?
I mean, I'm a cold beer guy. I know people like foo-foo and mixed drinks and all the, you got the Surfside and High Noons and all these cute drinks now. I'm a Miller Lite guy. I keep it simple. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I like Coors Light too. But I think college football is for cold beer, in my opinion. You keep all that foo-foo cha-cha-cha drinks for your date nights and what else you want to do. It's all cold beer on college football Saturdays.
Mac, you disappoint me. Come on.
What do you got?
As a West Virginian, you're not saying some apple pie moonshine. That was and we ain't talking Old Smoky either. We're talking about this was brewed in someone's basement, okay, or distilled.
Gotta
in
have
someone's
open
basement.
air. You gotta have open air for the still.
You can't pound moonshine. Like that's where like there's a gray area. I'm talking like foo, but I refer to foo and cha like the fruity drinks, like the more mixed drinks that everybody's likes nowadays. The high noons, the surf sides, and all those cute little new drinks. But yeah, no, I mean moonshine's got to be in the rotation.
Oh yeah, gotta have a little bit.
But you
how
can't
about
do that, or you won't make.
No,
the game.
I know. Listen. I've had my share of jet fuel. I know.
Yeah,
a little white lightning.
Yeah,
you won't make the game if you drink too much shine or whiskey.
I've had my share. How about what if it's a noon kick, Mac? You need a good breakfast food.
I mean, sausage, egg, and cheese. You never can go wrong. It's all reliable. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Because you got to get your work done quick. That one, you can throw some stronger drinks in for a noon game because you want to get that buzz quicker. Those night games, those are a marathon. You can't be coming in with the hardcore stuff.
Yeah.
Well, while we're on that topic, breakfast drink, are you going to be like a Bloody Mary guy, mimosa guy? You stick to the cold beer? What are you going with for a breakfast drink?
I guess I am a little fruity and cha. I am a mimosa guy. That's my
there it is.
Mimosa Mac. I know people like Bloody Marys, but there's something about a nice little mimosa. Then I go over to cold beer.
Yep.
I love it. Maybe an Irish coffee in the cold winter months, if you need that.
You can't go wrong there too.
Yeah.
Tailgate game. If you want to play a game at a tailgate, what are you playing?
Tailgate game. So what we got? We got cornhole, pong. Corn. Can't go wrong. Cornhole. That's kind of, I feel like the old reliable.
Yeah, cornhole's good. I was thinking a little maybe some stump. I have contributed to a stump at the blue lot before, so stump. Just a pain though to get it all set up and transport and everything. But stump is
cornhole's easy. Cornhole,
easy.
Board down and play.
Yeah.
All right, Mac, you are the DJ at the tailgate. Give me a taste of the samplings on the music, on the tunes that you're going to play for the group.
In West Virginia, it's definitely a big country. It's definitely going to be a big country mix. So
some Charles Wesley Godwin on there.
Yeah, Charles will be on there. Who else we got? Morgan Wallen will be on there. Luke Bryan will make the list. I mean, I like to mix it up with the different country guys. So it's definitely more of a country vibe here in Morgantown on a game day.
Yeah,
very nice.
We got the Texas country down here. You know how we are about our guys.
Yeah.
The Turnpike Troubadours, guys, bands like that. I say a Texas country and I name a band from Oklahoma, but that's neither here nor there. I figured I'd have to give old Charles Wesley Godwin a shot with him being a big mountaineer himself.
Yeah, I mean Riley Green's also great. The great Toby Keith. I mean, you can mix and match with all great country. People love country. That's another thing. I feel like country music and college football go hand in hand.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, especially in the mountains and in the South.
Yes,
definitely.
Facts.
But no, we get a little bit up north too, being in the mountains a bit. So Mac. Listen, man, thank you again for coming on the show. Always a good time. Shout out College Experience and where they can follow you at.
You guys, we are at preview number 94 now. 95 after tonight. So we are in the final 40 coming down the stretch for all 138 preview. So go check out that. If we haven't done your team, we'll do your team in the next 2 weeks. But great time of year. I am almost preview seasoned out. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm ready for the games to start. And I can't wait for the Mountaineers to win the Big 12, 60-1. Rich Rod, year number 2. Cheers, beers, go Ears. We're tougher than you.
Oh, love it.
Let's go.
Oh, really quick. I do want to apologize to you for my Nittany Lions last year after you made your national title prediction. I'm really sorry, man. I'm sorry.
Win the Natty.
Just
Franklin got fired by week
I know.
5.
Just think of how disappointed you were with the pick. Just think about how I was. All right. Devastating.
Even better, I had him against Clemson, and Clemson had the worst year since like 2007. I was like,
Hey,
who do I want to mush this year? Maybe I'll pick this one at all.
There we go. Hey, listen, Penn State did beat Clemson.
They did, yeah. They
in the Pinstripe Bowl.
In the Pinstripe Bowl.
So it's like that's like a monkey. That's like a monkey's paw type of prediction right there. Oh man. Oh Jay, let's land the plane, man.
All right, folks. We appreciate each and every one of you who join us on a week in, week out basis. Mac, we appreciate you joining us. Always a pleasure to have you on. For all our listeners out there, do the things that help us grow as a podcast, like, subscribe, share, word of mouth. It still works, I promise. But always happy to talk college football. Thank you again, Mac, for coming on. Make sure to follow him, folks. Jake, you want to bring us home?
Hey. From all of us at the Get Back Coach,